On May 20, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump made a significant announcement regarding a new missile defense initiative called the Golden Dome. This ambitious project is estimated to cost $175 billion and aims to establish a comprehensive missile defense system to protect the continental United States and Canada from various aerial threats. Trump likened the scope of the initiative to that of the Manhattan Project, underscoring its urgency and importance with a projected completion timeline of 3 years. Key features and objectives of the Golden Dome Initiative. The Golden Dome Initiative is designed to create a sophisticated network of satellites capable of detecting, tracking, and intercepting incoming missiles, including both advanced ballistic and hypersonic threats. During the announcement, Trump emphasized that the system would be operational before the end of his term, capable of intercepting missiles launched from anywhere in the world, including from space. General Michael Guetlein of the U.S. Space Force has been appointed to lead the project. He previously served as the Vice Chief of Space Operations and possesses extensive experience in missile defense and space-based capabilities. The initiative marks a shift from its initial designation as the Iron Dome for America, which was changed to avoid trademark conflicts with Israel's existing Iron Dome system. Technical and financial considerations. The initial cost estimate of $175 billion is significantly lower than earlier predictions from the Congressional Budget Office, which suggested costs could range from $161 billion to $542 billion over a 20-year period. However, there are concerns among officials that total expenses could escalate into the trillions. A National Research Council study from 2012 had estimated that a comprehensive space-based missile defense system could cost as much as $831 billion. Leading contractors for the satellite components are expected to include major companies such as SpaceX, Palantir, and Anduril. These firms propose launching a constellation of satellites that would provide continuous three-dimensional tracking and interception capabilities. Political and legislative context. The Golden Dome Initiative has garnered strong support from congressional Republicans. Discussions are underway to allocate $27 billion for the initiative as part of a broader $150 billion defense package linked to Trump's tax cut reconciliation bill. Supporters argue that the project represents a necessary evolution in U.S. defense strategy, leveraging modern technology to enhance national security. Despite the political backing, the initiative faces skepticism from defense analysts and critics who question its technical feasibility. The primary concern revolves around the challenge of scaling a system like Israel's Iron Dome, which is designed for short-range threats to defend an area approximately 400 times larger against more sophisticated missile systems. Concerns and criticism. Critics have raised alarms over the potential weaponization of space, warning that this could trigger a new arms race and violate long-standing arms control treaties. Laura Grego, a researcher at the Union of Concerned Scientists, described the concept as fantasy, cautioning that adversaries could develop countermeasures to defeat a space-based missile defense system. Additionally, some defense analysts argue that previous attempts to establish similar space-based defense systems have been abandoned due to their high costs and technical challenges. They emphasize that the complexity of missile defense technology may not be adequately addressed by the proposed Golden Dome Initiative. Timeline of key events. March 2025, General Guetlein describes the project's ambitious scope, comparing it to the Manhattan Project and emphasizing the need for national commitment. May 5, 2025, the Congressional Budget Office releases initial cost estimates indicating potential expenses far exceeding Trump's announced figure. May 20, 2025, Trump officially announces the Golden Dome Initiative in a ceremony at the White House flanked by key defense officials. Conclusion. The Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative represents a bold step in U.S. national security strategy, aiming to leverage modern technology for comprehensive missile defense. While the project has received substantial political backing, its feasibility and financial implications remain hotly contested. Critics warn of the potential for escalating military tensions and undermining arms control efforts, raising questions about whether the ambitious goals of the initiative can be realistically achieved. As discussions continue in Congress and among defense analysts, the future of the Golden Dome initiative will likely shape the landscape of U.S. missile defense for years to come. The Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative, unveiled by President Donald Trump on May 20, 2025, represents a significant shift in U.S. defense strategy with a projected cost of $175 billion. This initiative aims to develop a comprehensive missile defense system to protect the continental United States and Canada from various aerial threats, including advanced ballistic and hypersonic missiles. However, several counterintuitive elements emerge from the details of this initiative. 1. Cost estimates and feasibility. While the official estimate for the Golden Dome initiative is $175 billion, this figure is significantly lower than earlier Congressional Budget Office predictions, which suggested costs could soar between $161 billion and $542 billion over 20 years. Some officials have even indicated that total expenditures could escalate into the trillions. This discrepancy raises questions about the reliability of the initial cost assessment, suggesting that political motivations may be influencing the presentation of financial estimates. 2. Technical challenges. The initiative has been compared to Israel's Iron Dome, which primarily defends against short-range threats. However, critics argue that scaling a defense system to protect a landmass 400 times larger involves significant technical challenges. This comparison is counterintuitive because it implies that a successful model in one context can be easily replicated in a vastly different situation. The reality is that the complexities of defending a continent against a wider array of threats are far more intricate than the original model suggests. 3. Weaponization of space. The Golden Dome initiative emphasizes a network of satellites for missile detection and interception, which raises concerns about the weaponization of space. Critics warn that this could lead to a new arms race and violate existing arms control treaties. The counterintuitive aspect here is the idea that advancing technology for defense could inadvertently destabilize global security, highlighting the paradox of seeking safety through potentially aggressive military strategies. 4. Political support versus public skepticism. The initiative has garnered substantial support among congressional Republicans and is intertwined with Trump's tax cut reconciliation bill, which suggests a strategic political maneuvering to secure funding. However, there is significant skepticism from defense analysts and scientists about the feasibility of such a project. This contrast between political backing and expert criticism illustrates a counterintuitive dynamic where political agendas may drive defense initiatives that lack robust scientific and technical validation. 5. Historical comparisons. Trump likened the Golden Dome initiative to the Manhattan Project, which was a massive and successful undertaking that culminated in the development of nuclear weapons. This historical parallel is counterintuitive because it suggests that a similarly ambitious and complex project in missile defense could yield equally transformative results. However, the historical context of the Manhattan Project involved a focused scientific endeavor with clear objectives, while the Golden Dome initiative faces a myriad of uncertain technological and logistical challenges. 6. Potential for countermeasures. Laura Grego, a researcher at the Union of Concerned Scientists, labeled the Golden Dome concept as fantasy, arguing that adversaries could easily develop countermeasures against any space-based shield. This presents a counterintuitive scenario where the implementation of advanced defense systems may provoke adversaries to escalate their offensive capabilities, thereby undermining the very security the initiative aims to provide. 7. Investment versus returns. Proponents of the Golden Dome initiative argue that leveraging modern technology makes the concept more viable than previous missile defense systems. This perspective is counterintuitive when considering that past attempts at similar systems have often resulted in substantial costs without guaranteed success. The expectation that newer technologies will resolve past failures overlooks the historical challenges faced in missile defense. In conclusion, while the Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative represents a bold vision for U.S. national security, it is fraught with complexities and counterintuitive elements that challenge its feasibility and potential effectiveness. The interplay between political ambitions, technical realities, and historical precedents creates a landscape where the promised benefits of such an initiative may not align with the practical challenges it faces. The Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative, announced by President Donald Trump, represents a critical development in U.S. national security strategy with implications that extend far beyond its immediate objective of missile defense. While the initiative has garnered considerable attention, certain aspects of the report are often overlooked but are significant in understanding its broader implications. Below are key overlooked points and their significance. 1. Comparison to the Manhattan Project. The comparison of the Golden Dome Initiative to the Manhattan Project is not merely rhetorical. This reference underscores the initiative's ambition and the scale of resources it intends to mobilize. Historically, the Manhattan Project was a massive government-led effort that revolutionized military technology and had profound implications for global power dynamics. By invoking this comparison, Trump aims to signal that the Golden Dome Initiative is not just a defense project but a transformative endeavor that could reshape U.S. military capabilities and geopolitical standing. Significance: this framing positions missile defense as a national priority akin to nuclear development during World War II, suggesting that failure to invest adequately could leave the U.S. vulnerable. It also sets a precedent for future defense initiatives, emphasizing the need for large-scale government involvement in technological advancements. 2. Technical feasibility and criticism. Critics, including defense analysts and scientists, have raised serious concerns regarding the technical feasibility of the Golden Dome. The initiative aims to scale a system like Israel's Iron Dome, which protects against short-range threats, to cover the vast expanse of the continental U.S. This transition raises significant doubts about the system's capability to intercept advanced ballistic and hypersonic missiles effectively. Significance: the skepticism surrounding technical feasibility highlights the risk of pouring billions into a project that may not deliver the promised security benefits. If adversaries can develop countermeasures, as some experts suggest, it could render the investment ineffective and wasteful. This aspect raises critical questions about accountability and the implications of failure, especially given the potential for escalating military tensions. 3. Financial implications. While the initial cost estimate of $175 billion is portrayed as a more palatable figure compared to earlier Congressional Budget Office predictions, there are suggestions from within the defense community that final costs could escalate into the trillions. This discrepancy between initial estimates and potential final costs is often overlooked in discussions about the initiative. Significance: the financial implications of the Golden Dome could strain U.S. defense budgets and divert funds from other critical areas such as healthcare or education. This shift in resource allocation could have long-term societal repercussions, especially if the system ultimately fails to provide the expected level of security. Moreover, it raises ethical questions about government spending priorities in an era of fiscal constraints. 4. Legislative context and political support. The initiative has found support among congressional Republicans, with plans to allocate $27 billion for it within a broader $150 billion defense package. This context is essential, as it reveals the political machinery driving the initiative and the potential for partisan dynamics to influence defense policy. Significance: understanding the political landscape surrounding the Golden Dome sheds light on how defense initiatives can be used as leverage in broader legislative negotiations such as tax cuts. This interplay between defense spending and political maneuvering highlights the complexities of U.S. governance and the potential for defense initiatives to be influenced more by political expediency than by strategic necessity. 5. Potential for an arms race. The prospect of weaponizing space as part of the Golden Dome initiative raises alarms about the potential for a new arms race. Critics warn that deploying missile defense systems in space could prompt rival nations to escalate their military capabilities in response, undermining decades of arms control efforts. Significance: this concern reflects a fundamental tension in international relations. While the U.S. aims to enhance its security, such efforts may provoke insecurity in other nations, leading to a cycle of escalation. The long-term implications for global stability and peace are profound, as increased militarization of space could have catastrophic consequences for international security frameworks. 6. Role of private contractors. The involvement of private contractors like SpaceX, Palantir, and Anduril in developing the satellite components is a notable aspect of the initiative that can sometimes be overshadowed by broader discussions of military capability. Significance: this trend towards privatization in defense raises questions about accountability, transparency, and the influence of corporate interests on national security policy. The reliance on private contractors could lead to conflicts of interest and prioritize profit over public safety. Furthermore, this shift marks a significant transformation in how military capabilities are developed and maintained, potentially altering the traditional roles of government and military in favor of private enterprise. 7. Public perception and media framing. Media coverage has often focused on the grandiose aspects of the initiative, such as its ambitious goals and financial scope. However, the potential for public skepticism and fear regarding the escalation of military capabilities, particularly in space, is frequently underreported. Significance: public perception can significantly impact the success and legitimacy of defense initiatives. A well-informed public might question the wisdom of investing in a missile defense system that could provoke international tensions or lead to unforeseen consequences. Understanding public sentiment is crucial for policymakers who must navigate the delicate balance between national security and civil liberties. Conclusion: the Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative is a multifaceted program with implications that extend beyond its immediate goal of protecting against missile threats. The discussion surrounding it encompasses technical feasibility, financial implications, political dynamics, and global security concerns. By identifying and analyzing these important yet often overlooked aspects, we can better understand the initiative's potential impact on U.S. national security and its broader implications for international relations. This understanding is critical for informed public discourse and effective policymaking in the realm of defense and security. 1. Strategic significance and objectives of the Golden Dome Initiative. The Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative represents a major shift in U.S. national security strategy, aiming to provide a robust shield against a range of aerial threats, including advanced ballistic and hypersonic missiles. The project's design focuses on integrating a network of satellites for detection, tracking, and interception, which underscores the growing reliance on space-based technology in modern military defense systems. This initiative, framed by President Trump as comparable to the Manhattan Project, suggests an urgent need for enhanced national security measures against evolving threats, especially in light of geopolitical tensions. 2. Technical feasibility and criticism. Despite the ambitious vision of the Golden Dome Initiative, significant skepticism surrounds its technical feasibility. Critics point out the challenges of scaling a defensive system akin to Israel's Iron Dome, which is designed for short-range threats to safeguard the vast landmass of the continental U.S. Concerns have been raised about the capability to intercept advanced missiles from various global locations and the potential for adversaries to develop countermeasures against a space-based defense system. The implications of these technical challenges could impact the overall effectiveness and reliability of the initiative, raising questions about its practicality. 3. Financial implications and congressional support. The projected cost of the Golden Dome Initiative is a critical point of contention. While President Trump announced a budget of $175 billion, initial estimates from the Congressional Budget Office suggested costs could soar into the trillions over time. This discrepancy highlights the uncertainties surrounding the financial viability of such a large-scale project. Additionally, the initiative has garnered political backing from congressional Republicans with proposals to include substantial funding within a broader defense package. The financial and legislative dynamics will play a key role in determining the initiative's success and execution. 4. Geopolitical and arms control concerns. The Golden Dome initiative raises significant geopolitical concerns, particularly regarding the potential for a new arms race and the implications for international arms control treaties. Critics, including experts from the Union of Concerned Scientists, warn that weaponizing space could destabilize existing security frameworks and encourage adversarial nations to enhance their missile capabilities in response. The initiative's focus on space-based defense systems intersects with long-standing debates over arms control, and its advancement could provoke reactions from other nations, thereby altering the global security landscape. 1. The Manhattan Project 1942–1946. During World War II, the United States undertook the Manhattan Project, a secret research and development initiative aimed at producing the first nuclear weapons. Led by physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the project involved prominent scientists and engineers who collaborated to harness nuclear fission. The project culminated in the creation of atomic bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, significantly impacting the course of the war and global geopolitics. The scale, urgency, and technological challenges of the Manhattan Project parallel the ambitious goals of the Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative. 2. The Strategic Defense Initiative 1983, proposed by President Ronald Reagan. The Strategic Defense Initiative (SDI) aimed to develop a space-based missile defense system to protect the United States from nuclear missile attacks. The concept involved deploying ground-based and space-based systems that would utilize advanced technology to intercept incoming missiles. Although it faced significant criticism and skepticism regarding its feasibility and cost, the SDI represented a bold vision for missile defense that sought to leverage cutting-edge technology, much like the Golden Dome initiative. Ultimately, SDI did not materialize as envisioned, but it shaped discussions on missile defense for decades. 3. The Apollo Program 1961–1972. The Apollo program was a series of missions undertaken by NASA with the goal of landing humans on the Moon and safely returning them to Earth. Initiated by President John F. Kennedy, the program required unprecedented levels of coordination, funding, and technological innovation. The successful Apollo 11 mission in 1969 marked a significant achievement in human space exploration. Similar to the Golden Dome initiative, the Apollo program required a massive investment of resources and was framed as a national priority during a time of intense competition with the Soviet Union in the Cold War. The ambition and scale of Apollo resonate with the objectives set forth in the Golden Dome project. The Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative, announced by U.S. President Donald Trump on May 20, 2025, represents a pivotal moment in national security strategy with far-reaching implications for both the United States and the global security landscape. As the initiative sets out to establish a comprehensive missile defense system at an estimated cost of $175 billion, predictions for its future impact can be categorized into several key areas: technological advancement, geopolitical dynamics, economic implications, and public perception. Technological advancement. The Golden Dome initiative aims to integrate advanced technologies, particularly through a constellation of satellites capable of detecting, tracking, and intercepting missiles. While proponents argue that modern technology enhances the feasibility of such a system, the ambitious scale, protecting a landmass 400 times larger than what the Iron Dome manages, poses significant technical challenges. Future advancements in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and satellite technology will be critical in determining the initiative's success. If the initiative progresses as planned, it could lead to breakthroughs in space-based defense systems influencing global military technology. Companies like SpaceX and Palantir involved in the project may innovate faster than expected solutions, potentially setting new standards for missile defense systems worldwide. However, if the project encounters technical setbacks, It may lead to a re-evaluation of U.S. missile defense strategies. Geopolitical dynamics. The introduction of the Golden Dome could significantly alter the geopolitical landscape. The initiative is likely to provoke reactions from adversaries, particularly countries like China and Russia, which may perceive the U.S. missile defense expansion as a threat. This could prompt these nations to accelerate their own military capabilities, possibly leading to an arms race in space-based technologies. Moreover, the potential weaponization of space raises concerns regarding compliance with international arms control treaties. If the U.S. moves forward with this initiative without diplomatic engagement, it could strain relationships with allies and adversaries alike. Future diplomatic efforts may focus on establishing new frameworks for space security to mitigate risks associated with increased military presence in space. Economic implications. The financial commitment to the Golden Dome initiative, initially set at $175 billion but potentially escalating into the trillions, will have significant economic repercussions. Such a substantial investment may lead to shifts in budget allocations within the defense sector, impacting funding for other critical areas such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Moreover, the involvement of private contractors like SpaceX and Anduril could stimulate economic growth through job creation and innovation in the defense sector. However, the long-term sustainability of the project will depend on effective financial management and oversight to prevent cost overruns. If the initiative becomes a financial burden, it could lead to political fallout and calls for reassessment of military spending priorities. Public perception and political landscape. The Golden Dome initiative is poised to be a contentious issue within American politics. Support from congressional Republicans may bolster its funding and implementation, but skepticism from defense analysts and critics could complicate its trajectory. Public perception will be influenced by the initiative's success or failure in delivering promised protection against missile threats. As the project unfolds, there may be a growing demand for transparency and accountability. If the initiative encounters significant challenges, public trust in government-led defense projects could wane, leading to increased scrutiny of military expenditures. Furthermore, the political implications of the Golden Dome may extend beyond the current administration. Future administrations may inherit the initiative, necessitating a careful balance between national security needs and fiscal responsibility. The outcome of the initiative could play a crucial role in shaping the national security agenda for years to come. Conclusion. The future outlook for the Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative is complex and multifaceted. As a bold step in U.S. national security strategy, it holds the potential for significant advancements in missile defense technology and shifts in geopolitical dynamics. However, it also faces substantial technical, economic, and political challenges that could determine its ultimate success or failure. In summary, the Golden Dome initiative may usher in a new era of missile defense, but its trajectory will be shaped by ongoing technological developments, geopolitical responses, economic viability, and public sentiment. The coming years will be critical in assessing whether this initiative fulfills its promise as a strategic shield for national security or becomes a cautionary tale of overreach and military ambition.